Hey guys, hey, welcome back to fuck. What am I doing? Man, I need to stop swearing, man. I got this habit of just swearing randomly to feel good about myself. That I need to stop that shit, man. See, look at that. I don't know, man. And nowadays, like swearing, it's sort of like it's a normal, common thing, you know. It's just like no one really takes it seriously. But then again, it's not really professional, is it? But then, am I trying to be professional on YouTube? Is it one of those things? Back in the day, YouTube was not professional, but nowadays everything has to be professional for some reason. But I don't know. It doesn't have to be. Is it that deep? Holy! Oh wait, what? I can't swear. Oh, I did it again. Never mind. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's try to be appropriate in terms of viewing, because a lot has changed over the 6 years of doing YouTube. Well, 2 years I took a break, so technically it's 4 years, right? But anyway, what was we talking about here? Oh, we're talking about GTA 5 contact competitive racing a couple days ago, when the Banshee unintentionally got touched. Someone touched it and touched it to change the performance in terms of top speed. So I think one of the guys on Rockstar just did a quick little hot fix, you know, a little bit of that script changing, what that crap is. And yeah, now obviously the car feels slightly different. Well, definitely does feel different when taking around corners in terms of carrying the momentum built through that top speed. And it's quite a challenging car to actually consistently do well lap after lap, because it involves a lot of throttle control. You guys will see that. You guys will see the flames coming out the exhaust as we're trying to carry that momentum built through the top speed, and also how the car just feels extremely heavy on the front, so the rear wants to stick out in terms of oversteer, but also you get that insane amount of understeer as well. And if you do get the braking point wrong and you're throttling wrong and you overshoot a corner and you're trying to cut back with that understeer, you're going to get that insane oversteer as well. But because of that momentum you build through the top speed, and when you do get that oversteer, it's really annoying to recover, because you do end up losing a lot of momentum. So if another car is next to you and that person's, you know, took that racing line to the optimal point, then that guy's going to pull away with like five, 6 car lengths within a split second, because of how much momentum that guy's built and how much momentum you've lost. Hopefully you guys are on track with what I'm saying here, you know, because I don't want to sound like I'm saying something in a technical way where you guys are not understanding. Because obviously when I first started GTA 5 racing, I knew nothing about racing. That's all I'm going to say to you. I personally like to use instinct and sort of just planning ahead, but then I do also make mistakes. I don't want you guys to think I'm just always posting videos where I'm doing well, you know, where I'm always winning, this and that. I don't want to be known as that person that's just always just showing, oh, look, I'm the best, this and that. I don't think I'm the best at GTA 5, nowhere near. I know who's better than me out there already. I've got half a dozen people that I know are better than me right now on GTA 5. I just want to show you perspectives where it's very intense. It's always something that you guys can gather information from and learn yourselves as well. You know, we're sort of, when a situation is given, which is always different in racing, which is the best thing about GTA racing. You know, it's just regardless of whatever race you're doing in any game, racing, when a situation occurs, it's always different. It's never scripted. It's never the same. You know, even if it's the same corner, the car positioning will be different between the cars around you. That's the beauty of it. But then what I'm trying to say here is, when I do post these videos, when these situations come, you can sort of see the choices that I make in order to perhaps advance and progress, or when I do make a mistake, as to why I make that mistake. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I've personally changed myself in terms of car handling and the driving style. You know, I've changed a lot of my preference. Obviously, I'm still using the furthest camera view, which is, you know, something that I think is essential in racing, just because of being able to react faster. And that's the thing, right? With the furthest view, and this is my only logical way to explain it, the reason why I think furthest view is going to give you the smoothest racing is because you're able to see the cars around you first before any other camera view. Because the closer you go towards the rear of your car, the chances of you seeing the cars around you is going to be minimal, because you feel the view is decreased. You know, the resolution has been decreased. And I don't know, obviously some people prefer to have the closer view just because they feel comfortable with their car. They'll feel more consistent and be able to make less mistakes. But the logical way to get the smoothest racing, right, without any hassle in terms of first corners, which still to this day, you know, a lot of people struggle to get a smooth run on when there's multiple cars around them. And one of the explanations for that I still stand to this day is because of people's camera view and the time it takes for them to react and adapt to those situations. So anyway, enough of that talk. In terms of the driving style, well, first of all, the Banshee, this 900R, this is a great car for racing. You know, it's really well balanced and it provides a lot of freedom for the actual racer to optimize the car, but it's quite difficult. It's not straightforward. You know, it doesn't have the best traction in the world. You know, the cornering and to be able to carry that momentum, like I said, is rather difficult. So you have to concentrate. It's not easy to be consistent with this car. And especially when you're having these battles, it gets really tense. And you guys will see that near the end. Now, here's the thing. In terms of what I've changed with my driving style since I've come back. Well, first of all, I sort of, you know, during that F1 era, you know, I used my right analog stick frequently. And also, I sort of only done racetracks where there was a lot of restrictions in terms of the racing lines and certain lines you can take, certain lines you can't. How I didn't even use a single curb for like a whole year. You know, I had sort of these rule sets going where I was influenced to sort of make sure that people did not touch any curb to keep the racing as fair as possible. And that mentality is what sort of ruined my enjoyment out of racing, I guess. Because initially when I started racing, I had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. To take the most ballsiest lines through the lampposts and these curbs and to really push the car to its absolute limit. And that's something that I was restricting myself during the F1 phase. And that's sort of what, like I said, brought me down. Now, after that phase, I was able to say, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna go to a Rockstar tracks and actually see what I'm capable of doing and to actually progress with my game knowledge, to really understand car mechanics and to really just test my skills out in terms of ballsy lines. And it was really fun. Just, you know, obviously hot lapping can be quite intense and boring at times, but to really just open up that door which I had closed for a long time and to really just go out there and, you know, for example, do muscle win, spend my time, you know, really analyzing the track and the car and just going into detail. And I realized that I was missing out on so many things, the sort of small things, right? And that's what brought back the enjoyment of racing, because I was able to learn from that. And I realized that a right analog stick for me is not necessary anymore, and it's not useful for me, and it actually turned out it was rather inefficient, because I was looking at my older videos, and when I was using my right analog stick, my racing lines weren't exactly smooth. It was sort of just stop, start, you know, brake here, and just go into the corner. There wasn't really any sort of throttle control involved. And that's one important thing that I've managed to learn over the months, is that throttle control is essential, you know, to be able to master that with the L2R2. You know, that all comes down to your perception of how much momentum you're carrying and really to optimize that racing line. But throttle control is 100% must to prioritize over any sort of right analog stick camera angle, because one thing is important is that when you use the right analog stick, when you take the same corner on the next lap, it's not going to be the same. So your racing line will be different and the momentum you're carrying is going to be different. So that's important. And to keep things simple as well, because when I'm not using the right analog stick nowadays, I'm able to actually concentrate more on the braking and the throttle control. Therefore, my racing line is going to be, you know, sort of optimized to be the best racing line to take every lap. You know, I'm able to make less mistakes, and you know, it's just I've got more time to think, because with the right analog stick, it sort of creates a placebo of this intensity that, you know, you're carrying this car through the corner very smooth, but you're actually not doing it smooth. I mean, fair enough, you're doing it smooth in terms of not making a mistake, which is what a right analog stick should help you do. So for some people, they just generally hate using a right analog stick, which I can understand, because it creates all sorts of angles and you can get a bit ill from that, or nausea, whatever. It's just it's preference, isn't it? But you know, I only use my right stick on very rare occasions. If it's something like a new track where I'm not familiar with the route, or, you know, if it's like a start grid where there's a hairpin right after with like 20 cars around you, I'd rather use my right stick to not touch any other car next to me. That's a priority. But nowadays I rarely sort of require myself to use the right stick because I'm sort of comfortable in really sort of getting the timing right of the brakes, and just the way I sort of handle my cars these days, and cornering is different as well, which I'll sort of go into detail in another video. Anyway, I've blabbered too much about myself. You know, this community, first of all, has progressed so much. Everyone's learned a lot. Everyone has improved, which is awesome. It's always nice to see people getting involved. I know there's a lot of you guys out there wanting to get involved yourself, but not sure how to. There's so many crews out there available to join, and there's so many different ways to join them as well. All you got to do is prove yourself that you are willing to learn. Then that's all that matters. Then you can join our races. You know, join the open crew, Sweat Buckets. The link in the description below. We also have another crew which is invite only called Sweat Racing. That's for organized events and team playlists and stuff like that, where we can get sort of the appropriate people that will mess about and cooperate. But I mean, yesterday's video, you saw that spontaneous random lobby where I invited everyone from the open crew actually cooperated and actually, you know, were quite organized and didn't kill each other. So that was quite surprising because, you know, we don't really sort of expect that in a GTA. So yeah, I'm going to cut the commentary short so you guys can enjoy the intensity of the battle with some awesome, you know, placebo music in the background. But yeah, racing nowadays is very competitive. You pretty much can't make mistakes these days, you know, on a track where everyone's used to, and everyone, you know, is using a car that they're used to as well, which, you know, in this case, in this video, is not a good example because everyone just sort of hopped on and tested this car out in this racing format. But anyway, I'll leave you guys to it. Be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy this video and find it useful. I'll be bringing out a lot more useful videos out there in terms of improving your racing, and also top fives, and the series that originally started will be coming back pretty soon. I'll see you guys soon. So not gonna be Pack it up, pack it up. Come on, a little bit. Come on, man. Look at that. Look at that. Everyone's OCD parking, like, on the spot thing. Look at that.